if you are constantly overusing social media, spending too much time on LinkedIn or Instagram, for example, the reason might not be that you're addicted to it, and even not the addictive design, what your body is asking you for and your level of inflammation. This is what the latest two studies say about the relationship between the social media and our physical health. So, the first study I wanted to discuss with you today looked at whether inflammation was related to social media usage. So, basically, every time that we're getting sick or we're very stressed, there are specific processes in our body happening that lead to inflammation. One of the indicators is so-called CRP or C-reactive protein. It's a type of protein that goes if you have any kind of inflammation, whether it's chronic stress or you're just about to get the flu or you have the flu. So apparently, when this happens in our body, then we feel a natural desire to reach out more to people and to socialize with them. This is some protective mechanism that somehow helps us probably recover. It's an evolutionary thing. Whenever we have inflammation in our bodies and the time that we spend on social media and our likelihood to go and reach out to people on social media increases. And especially sending messages to people, maybe close ones, interacting with them, not the passive use, go up. It doesn't work the other way around. So your social media predict your inflammation rates, but if you're about to get sick, you're very stressed, you actually, according to this research, are much more likely to go and to spend more time on social media. What's the problem with that? Well, the problem with it is actually while we're trying to alleviate loneliness, other research has shown that social media usage does not alleviate loneliness. It's almost like creates this empty calories. So while your body is trying to get the uh, human response to make you feel better, actually that's not happening. And so it creates this endless loop. And there is a second study that looked at tech usage patterns of families that characterize themselves as fast-paced families where everyone is always connected. They looked specifically at families where both parents were working and they had at least one teenager aged between 13 and 18. And they asked them to every day to fill in the questionnaire about how much time they spent on different digital devices, what they were doing at what time. And then they also took the samples of their saliva. They were looking for specific two other markers of inflammation and stress. Yeah, so there was one pro-inflammatory marker called IL-6 and the cortisol, the stress hormone. So what they discovered is actually the family screen time did correlate, so it was related to the stress markers and to the immune response. So both cortisol and IL-6 were going up the more time people were spending online. Adolescents, not surprisingly, were most affected. So they were those who were using their phones more and they had more time on the social media. They had more cortisol in the morning and generated more inflammation markers. Now, cortisol in the morning per se is not such a bad thing because the way human body when it's healthy works is that the cortisol goes up approximately just like before you are about to wake up, and then it reaches its peak 30 minutes after you wake up. Yeah, so that's a natural way for your body to prepare for the struggles, challenges, or even pleasures of your day. And then throughout the day, it goes down. Yeah. So there is this natural peak that goes down, and so then you can fall asleep when your cortisol levels are low. However, what happened in this case, so when teenagers were getting this like very, very high peaks, they were higher than they should be, yeah, in the morning, obviously, and they showed higher stress levels. Fathers, on the other hand, they also showed more stress and inflammation, but their stress patterns were a bit different, so their cortisol levels have flattened. So it's almost, like whatever was happening, like they didn't care anymore. So essentially, that their stress response was not to react to whatever was going on, which is actually problem in the stress response because then you're not adapting to your environment. And this is usually a sign of when somebody is completely depleted. Interestingly enough, mothers were least affected of all the members of the family. So what does it mean for us? Well, first of all, that regulating digital habits is crucial for reducing, stress and promoting long-term health. It's not just a nice thing to have, it's actually something that's going to impact your body. I didn't say why actually we want to be worried about inflammation. So inflammation, if you have prolonged level of inflammation, chronic inflammation, you're more likely to get diabetes, to get obesity, any kind of cardiovascular diseases, high blood pressure, and even get aged prematurely. Yeah. So if you want to stay healthy, then you also don't want to just eat healthily, but also create some rules of digital hygiene for yourself. Now, we need to be very careful with correlation versus causation here. Yeah, so in that case, both studies show the correlation, which means that one thing was related to the other, but we cannot say what's the cause and what's the effect. But there are also some studies that do show that increased screen time, especially when we're switching between different digital tasks, can increase our levels of cortisol. So what does this all mean for you? Um, well, first of all, avoid checking your phone first thing in the morning, last thing before going to bed. Ideally, leave at least like 1 hour for yourself before going to bed for your cortisol levels to go down. Yeah. Generally, cutting on your social media use, but overall device use is also going to be quite beneficial. Yeah. And also, the next time you're reaching out for your social media account, you don't even understand why you're doing this. Just chances are that you're quite tired or have inflammation, you're stressed, and then your body is asking you for some response, and what you can do to help your body instead is to find for an alternative strategy. So perhaps go to somebody you love and ask them for a hug, yeah, to remove this cortisol response. Or, I don't know, take some vitamin C. Or support yourself in some other way. Look up anti-inflammatory diet, for example.